Welcome back for another video. Good to have FPL back at last, or maybe not if you've got a team full of flags like mine. In this video we're going to run through how the team's set to line up for Gameweek 21 and the transfer plans this week. Lots to talk about with Son and Salah out of the picture now, plus Trent picking up an injury in the FA Cup. Apologies in advance to the 5% of viewers that aren't men, but listen up gents. Today's video has been sponsored by Manscaped. I've been using a cheap shaver for literally the last 10 years and I didn't realise what I've been missing out on. They sent me the Lawnmower 5 Ultra, which has two interchangeable heads, a trimmer and foil. It's waterproof, it's got USB or wireless charging. You can use it on your hair, your beard, or wherever else hair grows on your body. Get the Lawnmower Ultra for 20% off with an exclusive discount for viewers of the channel, which also gets you free shipping. The code is fplfocal. And the place to enter it is manscaped.com/fplfocal. There's a link at the top of the description. Treat yourself or get it as a gift for someone. Link and code below to take advantage. So let's start with a quick look at how last game it went. 82 points all out, which wasn't enough for a green arrow, a small red arrow to 102k. The transfer went positively though, with Edison keeping a clean sheet. The alternative moves in consideration were Simicast to Konsa or Gordon to Foden, which meant benching Palmer, both of which were the cost points. I've seen some great scores over the last week, well played if you managed to hit the 100 mark. Just 2 points between Saliba, Trent and Pedro Porro in defence, but it was a massive week for midfielders. Palmer with 18 and the top scorer of the game week, Son with 9, Saka with 7 and of course Salah with 16. Costly in the end to bet against Salah, but at least Alvarez scored against Sheffield United. That Liverpool game was a rollercoaster watch whether you had Salah captain or not. -1 points by half time from a missed penalty and he was on 16 points by full time. It was actually a huge green arrow to 40k until the last day, but Salah's haul and Ariola's 11-pointer turned the green on its head. So let's run through the team for Gameweek 22, the transfer plans and the route back to Haaland. In goal, Edison's home to Newcastle. Can he keep back-to-back clean sheets for the first time since Gameweek 2? Although Newcastle have league goals, offensively they've still fared quite well, ranking 3rd for expected goals over the last 4 game weeks. This is a really nice graphic from Mikhail Tokvan projecting the number of fixtures in the upcoming game weeks. For audio listeners, it's basically blank and double Gameweek predictions. Man City have a high chance of a double Gameweek 25, which was a decisive factor in bringing Edison in. Brentford, Luton and Liverpool could also double in 25. It's going to get very interesting around that period as Chip's strategy comes into the forefront. Free hit and triple captain both look good in 25 if those doubles happen, but 29 is going to be a huge blank game week, so free hitting then looks fine as well. In defence it's Saliba, Pinnock and Pedro Porro. Brentford aren't inspiring any confidence at the moment, so Pinnock's likely to drop to the bench. Brentford on a run of 5 losses on the bounce in the league. They're home to Forest this game week, which isn't the worst fixture, but Forest look an improved side under Nuno, and they're a good side in away games. With Trent injured, he's in the starting 11 at the moment, but a defender transfer is looking likely to afford Pinnock onto the bench. Perhaps Tony's return will give Brentford a much needed lift. Saliba's got a home fixture as well, against Crystal Palace, who will be without Elise now, who picked up a thigh injury. Arsenal topped the Gameweek 21 clean sheet odds, given a 51.5% chance of a clean sheet. Despite Arsenal's form as of late, you have to back them here. Another reason that defender transfer is on the cards though is due to Gameweek 23 when Arsenal have got Liverpool and Pinnock's got Man City and Trent will probably be injured still. Need to minimise the downside of that week with defender transfer now. Pedro Porro completes the defence. 7 assists this season for him but yet to score in the league. However he scored a worldie in the FA Cup from outside the box. Van de Ven is back imminently and Spurs have just completed the signing of Dragusin, who's a highly rated centre back. Not the best fixture this week away to Man United, but he can get a return in any fixture, and long term he's got a great fixture on still. Referring back to the earlier graphics, Spurs have got a chance of blanking in Gameweek 26, which is something to be aware of. It depends on if Chelsea can progress to the League Cup final, currently 1-0 down after the first leg against Middlesbrough. The odds of a blank have dropped from about 80% to 70%, but still high. Luton, Liverpool and Chelsea the other teams that could blank in 26. Going to be a fun couple of weeks with Liverpool potentially doubling, followed by a blank. The midfield is Salah, Palmer, Bowen and Saka. Let's get Bowen out of the way then. I almost never make early transfers and usually lock them in on the deadline streams. A mistake to get him early, eyeing up a potential 0.4 mil swing in total. It's an unusual game week for many of us with 2 premiums that we know are out for a while, and 2 free transfers in many cases. In my case a good bench as well. Bowen's got a stellar fitness record, he's missed a couple of games his entire career. I calculated a maybe foolish risk as he of course picked up an injury in the FA Cup. If you're into FPL optimization, FF Trout wrote a very interesting blog post on why the Bowen transfer was good or even correct, even if objectively bad given the outcome. But to summarise it, more team value correlates to more points over the season. You gain around 0.3 points per game week for each additional 1 mil you have. So over the season, points gained on the early Bowen move for 0.4 mil, or at worst, a free transfer needed to fix the mistake if he gets injured, or at the absolute worst, a 4-point hit. It's always sensible to wait before making transfers though, so perhaps a mistake and a lesson learned there. It depends on what type of FPL manager you are as well, I suppose. I think a hybrid approach is fine, pick your moments. So with Salah off to AFCON, he's likely to leave the team either this game week or next. Loads of ways to go for replacing him. Foden, Richarlison and Garnacho, all in my thinking. His return date is completely dependent on how Egypt fare at AFCON. It could be as late as game week 25. The other question is, how will Liverpool fare without Salah and their main creator Trent? Palmer's vice-captain, home to Fulham. Interestingly, he played up top in the League Cup versus Middlesbrough, and he had a couple of chances and should have scored really. I'm not sure whether Poch will try this again versus Fulham. We could see Broja come back in, or Nkunku if he's available, though he wasn't on the bench in the Cup. Captaincy is really tough this week. Palmer and Saka are the two standouts in my eyes. Let us know in the comments who your captain is. Palmer's got 4 double-digit hauls this season. Only Salah and Son have got more, with 7 and 6 respectively. Saka gets the armband for the Palace game. There's been an uptick in his underlying numbers, 2 big chances in each of the last 2 matches for 4 in total. That's the same number of big chances he'd registered in 13 games before that. Arsenal need a convincing response to settle fans after recent results, and assuming that we see that, he stands a great chance of being involved. Over the season, Saka's 30.4 expected goal involvement can only be beaten by Haaland and Salah. Onto the front 3, which is Solanke, Alvarez and Watkins this week. With a home fixture, and Liverpool missing Trent, Endo, Szoboszlai and Salah, perhaps Bournemouth will be able to find a couple of chances. Van Dijk was also absent from Liverpool's FA Cup squad with reported illness, but you'd assume he'll be back for this game week. Over the last 6 game weeks, Solanke is top among all forwards for non-penalty XGI, and that's with 1 fewer game played due to the Luton postponement. Solanke's taken 16 shots in the box this season, which is more than any player. Given Haaland didn't even make the bench in their cup match versus Huddersfield, Alvarez stays in the team, and the move looks like it can be delayed a week. Over the last 6 game weeks, Newcastle are rock bottom by a landslide for expected goals conceded, obviously heavily inflated by the Liverpool game, who did rack up a record high XG against them. 19.5 XGC for Newcastle over the last 6, and then it's actually Spurs in second worst with 12.3. Newcastle no walkovers when playing at home though, it's going to be a great match that one. Watkins completes the 11 against Everton, who again are no walkovers playing home. He's leapfrogged Haaland for ownership now, and he's the second most owned player in the game at 54.9% ownership. Only Saka's in more teams. Watkins has taken 52 shots in the box this season, which ranks joint 3rd across all players along with Salah. The bench is Dubravka, Gordon, Trent and Tsimikas. 1 free transfer and 1.6 mil in the bank. It's looking like Gordon's going to be needed this week now. The alternative is Pinnock, but leaning towards favouring the attacker despite the City fixture. So the most important thing is having a route back to Haaland in Game Week 22, assuming that he'll be fit by then, as he'll be the standout captain home to Burnley. This does require selling Salah, however I'm conscious that Salah might be needed as soon as he's back if Liverpool get the double Game Week 25 we discussed earlier. Trent's expected to be out for around 3 weeks as well, so I'm also inclined to hold on to him for that potential double. Therefore, the current plan is to sell Salah for Garnacho. This leaves 9.3 mil in the bank, which is more than enough for Haaland in Game Week 22. But after buying Haaland, this leaves 2.3 mil in the bank. So the early thoughts are that it could be a case of selling Solanke in Game Week 25 before he's got Newcastle and Man City, by downgrading him to a 4.5 mil forward like Archer. And this makes Bowen back to Salah doable. It might require a second transfer, it's going to be very tight for money. If the double Game Week 25 falls for City and Liverpool, then having Trent, Salah, Edison and Haaland will be a great position to be in, as it might be a struggle for some teams to squeeze Trent in as well. Hopefully I've explained that all well. Game Week 25 would look something like this, so the transfers made now need to be carefully thought out. Given that I also hope to hold on to Trent, it does mean the defence needs improving, which makes it a perfect opportunity to finally get rid of Tsimikas. Therefore the second transfer will be Tsimikas to Estupiñán for a -4 hit. Brighton have got an amazing run of fixtures long term now, so it makes a lot of sense. If this video was helpful, please hit like before you go and make sure you're subscribing. Big thanks again to Manscaped for their support. Click the link below to check them out, you won't regret it. We're back tomorrow for another FPL video answering all the big Game Week 21 questions and dilemmas. See you soon for the next one.